Welcome back to Building Together. Today we're going to be comparing all of the Black Falcon's castles.
I'm excited for this one. I love castles. You know that if you've watched this channel. And we've got all the castles constructed from the very beginning of the Black Falcon's faction all the way to, well, the most recent iteration. So we're going to just walk through these. These aren't going to be formal reviews. I just want to do a comparison and see what we like and what we don't like. And I think maybe at the end, discuss which one might be our favorite.
Okay.
All right. So here we go.
So our first one we have over here is from 1984. This is the Knight's Castle. Secondly, we have from 1986, the Black Falcon's Fortress. And then we have not a full set, but it's from the battering ram, the castle part of that set in 1987. And then finally, we have the medieval castle that just came out this year, 2021. So obviously these have changed quite a bit. How have the parts changed over the years?
Well, you can tell these first three castles are from a completely different era of Lego compared to the one in 2021. And of course, that makes sense. 1987, and then we jump 34 years to 2021. A lot has changed in Lego.
Almost our whole lives.
A lot has changed. And so you'll notice that there's a common way of building these three sets compared to that one. What's common here? These castles right here are built predominantly using the wall panels from the 1980s. These were 5 wide, I think 5 studs tall, and they are what really fills out the walls of these castles. And you can kind of see that at the very front of them, and especially along this one right here, because it's just a wall section. Another interesting element to these sets in terms of their construction and the pieces they use is that it's very brick heavy. By that, I mean a lot of the pieces that you use to build it are just basic bricks. A lot of 1x1, 1x2, 1x3, 4, and 6 bricks in these 3 sets here. And you can tell that maybe with a little bit of the blockiness of them, and you can see, of course, the change from 1984 to 1986 and 7 with the use of these corner panels that were introduced in this set right here. In fact, we did a whole video on what makes this Lego set so great, and we talk about some of those techniques and some of the pieces there. Now, when you fast forward to this set over here, you can see there's a lot more variety of pieces, not just in terms of color, which clearly there is, you can see the differences here, but in terms of the way that they get details. We've got these Nexonite shield pieces here. We've got double cheese slopes. We've got different profile bricks. We've got other type of window elements on this side here and in the front here. And it's just a lot more involved. If you take a look at the inventory of these sets, you'll notice that this is just so much longer. And not simply because it's more pieces. I mean, if you could take these 3 sets, add them together, and it still wouldn't have as many pieces as this set here.
Wow.
But just a different variety of pieces. And that's part of the evolution of Lego.
So going along with that, how have the techniques changed as well?
Again, a lot more detail. The ability to use snot work. You can see that again on the front using the Nexonite shields. 1x2 bricks with studs on the side allow you to do that. Also on the back of this right here, there's some snot work to get the Tudor feeling, whereas this is all studs up. Everything is just basically you're building, stacking bricks on top of one another. This uses a lot more of the snot technique. A second difference is all of these main castles open up. You can see that here. I'm not going to open them up all the way, but you can see that here, and even this one. Now, they all use hinge bricks to open, but these 2 sets, and this one even, include Technic pins to connect them. This uses a hinge piece that you can connect to a 1x1 brick that's modified with a clip on it. And so it's a different way of connecting those. So a couple different techniques change there. Roofing techniques are different because of the way that they are able to use hinge pieces here compared to what they used back in the 1980s as well. So a lot more technical details in the 2021 set compared to those from the 1980s.
So we've looked at the parts and techniques that have changed over the years, but when you just look at it, the first thing that hits you is how the aesthetics have changed. As Colin mentioned, these do look a bit blocky, and here you have so much more detail. You definitely don't ever run into the big gray wall syndrome. We definitely don't have a problem with that going on here. We've got so much variety, so much detail, so many interesting pieces being used. It just makes for a really beautiful look.
Or, to maybe add a different opinion to that, a cluttered look. A lot of different colors, a lot going on with that, and there may be something to say for a just straightforward light gray castle with maybe some color accents like the red, the yellow, maybe a black roof. Here, look at all the colors. There's not a lot of light gray, and I think Lego intentionally wanted to avoid the light gray, which unfortunately I prefer. Like, one of my disappointments with this set is it doesn't include a lot of light gray bricks. It does have a lot of dark gray bricks. But yeah, there's a lot of colors, a lot of things going on. You've got dark orange up here with the yellow and the brown, the dark blue roofs. And you've got in the front here to make it asymmetrical, like a mossy mountain rock look, which is cool. But again, just to add a different perspective, it does look kind of chaotic. And these look very orderly. It depends on your point of view, I suppose.
I don't think it looks chaotic, but I can see what you're saying. There have been other sets like the Ninjago City sets. Sometimes I feel like those can tend to get a little cluttered because there's just so many details and so many different things going on with those. This one I feel like is still pretty cohesive in its color scheme to make it not too busy. Although it does have another thing going on in the inside with that marketplace in there with the reds.
Yeah, this set actually and this set are the only two that come with jails. And this one does not, but perhaps that's a different discussion.
Going into that, we
Yeah.
do want to talk about how they function as actual castles, and did they design them with that sort of thing in mind?
So we've mentioned the jails. This one has a jail. This one has a jail. No jail in the Black Falcon's fortress, and of course, no jail here. This is just a wall segment. But there are a couple of other interesting observations, right? One is that this set right here doesn't feature any way to climb from one level to the next, nor does this one or that one. This has a staircase from the ground up to the main battlement level here, but of course there's no way to climb up to the upper towers at all. So there's a little bit of functionality there that's kind of across all of the sets. It's a little problematic. Another thing that I think is interesting is that this set and this set have 6 wide drawbridges. This one has an 8 wide. Why does that matter? Well, when you consider the drawbridge, the Technic bricks on the inside here and the border on the drawbridge here means that you can only get a 4 wide cart through there. And nowadays, if Lego was to create a cart, I doubt it would be a 4 wide. They did a lot of 4 wide vehicles back in the 1980s, 1990s, but they transitioned more to a lot of 6 wides. And so if you had a cart, it's not going to fit through that. I think that's a significant design flaw compared to, say, this one right here, which has the 8 wide, which allows you to get a 6 wide cart through.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that the cart that came with the medieval blacksmith that we got recently probably wouldn't fit through there.
Nope, it would not. So that's another thing. If you did buy the medieval blacksmith shop and this castle, you may need to make some modifications to kind of align the to allow the cart to go through the drawbridge there. In terms of other functionality, let's be honest, this has just a ton of details. You mentioned the market. What else are the details in here that make it very much more castle-like or realistic than these?
Well, you've got a water source. That's helpful. You've
That's
got
big.
your well here and the water wheel here that helps power the blacksmith inside. These ones don't even have a blacksmith, and that's because there's a separate set for that would connect to it. But this one is included all in this one. So we have a lot of civilian sort of aspects of life included in this one between the market and the blacksmith and the well. We have lots of fortifications on all of them, so that works across all of them. So as far as your more soldier component, I think that works across all of them well.
Yeah, a couple other additions that made it into the 2021 version, and of course it's 1,400 pieces, just almost twice the size of these combined. There's a bathroom.
True.
With toilet paper. And there is, of course, the throne room right here with an actual throne. Neither of these have that. So in terms of functionality, you think of the everyday castle life and what it might look like. So a lot more accuracy here. There's even a target on the back over here, which is, I think, kind of nice to have that for, I guess, the lone archer here. But of course, we're not going to talk too much about the minifigs, but I will say the archer in this set doesn't have a quiver. So he's got to borrow some from his...
He says keep running, get that arrow over and over
Yeah,
again.
he's got one arrow, use it wisely. So, a lot more functionality in the 2021 version of the set. So as we wind down this comparison, there's a lot going on, but I want to ask you, which one of these 4 sets is your favorite?
Hands down, it's the new one for me. I mean, to me, it doesn't even compare. Like, there's so much more to this one, both functionality and aesthetics. I really like it. And one of the cool things I think about humanity in general is that we can improve upon things and get better as, we learn more. So I think Lego has done that. They've learned lots more about designing sets and how they can produce new pieces. And I just think this one is by far and away the best.
So this is a tough question for me, and I'll give you my thought process. Number one, this set, sorry, it's not anywhere in contention for my favorite one. It's half of the set, right? The battering ram is part of the focus of the set. This set was interesting to me when I first saw it. I didn't know the set existed until about 2006. I was looking through some old Lego catalogs and saw this because I was born in 1983, so it dates me right there. I wasn't looking at Lego back then. So in 1984, I didn't know this when it was out. I accumulated the pieces and the minifigs since then, so that helped, and we were able to build this. It comes down to the Black Falcon's Fortress versus this one. And this set, for fans of Castle, has been iconic. It's got some iconic pieces like the flag. It was way ahead of its time. I mean, it moved Castle techniques ahead in terms of Lego sets. But what really makes it tough for me is that I love light gray. I'm not a huge dark gray fan. I like to use some dark gray to avoid the big gray wall syndrome. This just comes with so many great bricks. You can do so much with it that when you take the set apart, combine it with other sets that you have, you can do a lot of different things. This one, it's like they give you a lot of dark gray, which is good, but they're really light on the light gray bricks. And there's so many colors. It's like you get a little bit of everything, but not enough of one thing to really expand, your building possibilities if you're doing something large scale. So that was really the tough part for me. This is a birthday gift when I was 5 years old, so that also has some sentimental value. But I think when you look at functionality, you look at the deal. I mean, like $99 for this set here, 1,400 pieces, really fun techniques, really well designed. You can see that they put thought into it. I just gotta narrowly go with this one here, but it's a tough call for me. And if you're a classic Castle fan, let me know. Just comment down below. Which one of these would be your favorite? How close does probably this one, if you're a classic Castle fan, come to that one? Or is it just not close and I'm just being biased by nostalgia? That's possible. So there we go. We both go with this one. By the way, props to the Black Falcon sitting right there. Really cool throwback. The shields, the torsos, but also just the the call out to the theme, the appreciation for what the Black Falcons faction means to Lego fans across the world. All right, everybody. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below which of these is your favorite. And as we always end here, remember to keep building together.
What's it called? The big ugly gray wall?
The big gray wall syndrome.